Please subscribe for more videos.
Hello and welcome to Tito's Cucina. Today I'll be making some challah bread. Challah bread is a Jewish bread which is usually made during special ceremonies like your Shabbat. And I really love this recipe because I like the braided design of the bread, and also because the recipe uses one of my favorite ingredients, which is honey. I have added a little bit of twist to my challah bread recipe because I'm going to give it a honey seeded glaze instead of the traditional egg glaze. And so these are the ingredients that I will be using for my recipe today. So I have got some flour. This is your plain all-purpose flour. I've also got a cup of warm water. This is warm water from the tap. I've got some honey. This is clear honey. Yeast. This is the fast rising yeast. Salt. I've also got some cooking oil. The recipe calls for the use of olive oil, but I usually use sunflower oil at home, so I think that will do. I've got 2 eggs. I'll be using one of the eggs and just the yolk of the second egg. I have also got some extra honey for the glaze and some sesame seed, which I have toasted briefly in the oven, and also just a little block of butter for my glaze as well. The measurements and the quantity required for the ingredients, you can find that in the description of this video below. As far as the equipment for this recipe is concerned, you would need a food processor or handheld mixer which has got a dough hook, or stand mixer which has also got a dough hook. But a mixer is not mandatory because you could always knead with your hands. I always go the lazy route and use a mixer. You would also need some measuring cups or a scale. Yeah, and you would need a sharp pointed knife or a pizza cutter, and also you would need a brush to brush on your glaze with. So I'm going to start off by pouring my dry ingredients into the mixing bowl. So I've got my flour, I've got the salt, and the yeast. And I'm just going to give them a good mix. And then I would add in my wet ingredients. I'm going to add in 1 egg. And I will just add in the yolk from an extra egg. This is just to make it a bit more stretchy. This is a tip given to me by a friend who's tried my recipe. She'd added an extra yolk, just the egg yolk from another egg, just to make it a bit stretchier. I'm then going to add in the honey. Just drip the honey in. And the oil. Then I'll give it all a good mix, and then I'll transfer this to the mixer, the cake mixer, or the stand mixer rather, and then I'll knead it for about 10 minutes. The more you knead it, the better, because it kind of breaks down all the gluten that helps bind and stretch. I'm also going to add in the water before I knead it. Then I'll knead it for a good 10 minutes. So my dough has been kneaded, and you can see it's quite stretchy, yeah. And so I'm just going to roll this in on a flat surface into a bowl, and then I'll place that in a oiled glass bowl cover, and I'll leave it in a warm area, in a warm place, to rise for about 1 hour. So my dough has proofed for about 1 hour, and as you can see, it's rising to have its normal size. I'm just going to flour my hand and then punch a hole in the dough, and then I bring this out on the flat surface and I just knead it. So you just roll the dough out into a rectangular shape, and then you use a knife or pizza cutter to cut the dough into 6 equal strips. Lay out the first strip, and then I'll take a strip and just cross over the first strip this way, leaving some space at the end, and then cross the second strip. I'm going to move this a little bit to the middle. Cross the second strip over, okay, and then take a third strip this way, and then weave it underneath the first strip, just so that it's aligned slightly different to the first strip. And then the 5th strip goes this way, goes underneath here this way. So we're trying to create like a weave pattern, underneath and then on top. And then your last strip will be woven through this way. I'm just going to pull all of this down a little bit. So because I'd want a small round challah bread, I'm going to do the end strands into a plait. So I'm just going to do a 3-strand plait with the end. So you do that by just crossing the strips over each other into a 3-strand twist, into a 3-strand braid, and then tucking in the end so that it doesn't unravel. So repeat the process for all the 4 sides, doing them into a 3-strand plait and tucking in the ends. So you end up by tucking in all the 4 sides underneath your dough to give it a dome shape. So you've got the weave on top and then nicely tucked in underneath. You cover this with a kitchen towel, and I'll leave it to rise just for about 10 minutes. So I've got, I have melted some butter with honey and mixed in my sesame seed, and I'm just going to use that as a glaze, and I'll just glaze my dough with that. I've left the dough to rise for about 10 minutes. I'm now going to bake this in the oven at 170 degrees centigrade for about 15 minutes. So the challah bread is ready when it is light brown or golden brown and produces a hollow sound when tapped. If you'd like it a bit crustier, you could leave it in the oven for an additional 5 minutes. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and let us know what you think about this recipe by commenting in the comment box below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification button for more videos. Thank you.